You ever felt like you don't fit in anywhere, no matter where you go, no matter what you do? That's kind of how I felt my whole life. Like I don't really fit in anywhere, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels this way because it's probably more common than what you think, and that's pretty much. A freaking bird landed on my head. Did you guys see that? It's never happened to me before. That was amazing. Anyway, I was thinking about how pretty much feeling like I never fit in is it's one of those things like there's that bird. But I know I'm not the only one that feels this way. It's like in high school I've always felt this way, and it's really been that way too. Like I don't really fit in with people, and it's a blessing in disguise. And now we can become our own versions of ourselves. I see a stray cat here on the side of the woods. I think he's looking at my cat. It's a black and white one. I have to try to sneak up on him. I got really close to him. Come here. Come here. Got really close to the cat. I smell the lilac. It's doing pretty good this year. Smells so good. But yeah, not fitting in is a blessing, and trying to fit in with people is really just hindering yourself from who you truly are, and people don't really recognize that because we're all structured to and pressured to fit into these groups, if you will, these cliques of people that really just keep you at a lower level of yourself, because it's all about conformity. It's all about being loyal to a group instead of being true to yourself and under God, because most people, they reward conformity, and you get a certain amount of benefits for there's that same bird. You get a certain amount of benefits for conforming to the group with security, and most people would like to be accepted by others instead of really truly just accepting yourself for who you are, for who God created you to be, and we're all not really taught the truth about our own existence under the Creator, Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? Most people don't have any biblical understanding whatsoever. The God of this world has blinded the minds of those which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ should shine unto them. 2 Corinthians 4:4. So people need to be less moldable and instead of conforming to others' expectations, and you need to be true to yourself and ask yourself, what do you really want out of this life, and what does God really want you to be doing? Because God will give you the desires of your heart, you know what I mean? We ask for things that are pertaining to His kingdom, and God rewards us. So yeah, I felt like I've never actually fit in anywhere. and it's hard at times, but I can see how much better it actually truly is in the long run for my own well-being and for my own soul. So I don't have any regrets for not fitting in with people, and I would rather enjoy solitude than try to always look for other people to hang out with, to try to feel a certain way. You know what I mean? So, like, I've never fit in, like, even with my own family, it feels like, too, like, my whole family's, like, religious. We definitely do not see eye to eye on, like, basically anything. They definitely do not have the same kind of heart or mind that we do as born-again Christians. We're totally different, and we definitely see the world totally different, and that's what the devil does, guys. He'll warp your perception of reality, and if you see the truth for what it is, now you're labeled crazy, and they'll tell you all kinds of crazy things, like if you even express human emotion, now you need to be on medication, and it's insane, guys, because the very people that are saying they love you will be the first ones to basically hurt you or fracture your mind, because the devil comes as an angel of light, and hell is paved with good intentions. People don't really understand what's really going on out here with these doctors, and with the whole taking the jab thing, and politics, religion, all this stuff. People don't really seem to have a full grasp of understanding how dangerous and how deceptive all this stuff really is, because they're still pushing the voting. They're still going along with the program, and they don't really think outside the box, because I guess they're afraid to really go against conformity, and they're afraid to think for themselves because they don't know how to. So people have been screwed over from the get-go, since kindergarten, because it's all been about regurgitating useless information and then grading you on that to see whether or not you're a good, loyal servant to the system. And if you're not, then that's why all this school shit, it's all BS. And going to college, I seen through that at an early age. For me, it was an unspoken understanding that going to college wasn't even an option for me. It wasn't even a thought, like most people, that was like their, I hated school, and I hated the structured programs, and that's why I went to alternative school. I got kicked out of school twice. I went to alternative school, and then I went to after school and graduated early on the computer. And I wanted to drop out of school, but I would have been kicked out by my mom if I did back in the day. So I had no option, and I would have been better off quitting school and getting a job, making money, and starting off younger, making money. So then later on in my years, I wouldn't have to, you know what I mean? But we're not taught about truth. We're not taught about what really matters. We're not taught about anything except for basically fitting in to these groups, being conformable, having our minds molded and being very predictable with our actions because they don't like unpredictability. People are very uncomfortable around people who think uniquely, people who don't fit in. That's why they'll slander you and call you names, because they're intimidated by you, because they don't really know how to put you into a category. So you're like a threat to their comfort level and their conformity, you know what I mean? So people are just so difficult to be around most of the time, because people don't really have a real desire for the truth or a desire to be free, because we're already told that we're free here in the divided states of America. So if you already think that you're free, you're hopelessly enslaved. You can only free a slave that knows he's in bondage. So we pretty much know everything that we've been told is a lie, and if they tell us that we're on a spinning ball, then you pretty much know it's the opposite, you know what I mean? It's not really hard to figure out. It's not that hard to understand. And when you know the truth and you see the truth, there's really no going back. Honestly, there is no going back from seeing and knowing the truth. Once you believe, you see, and now you know, and there's no turning back. Once you take the red pill, once you get born again, you can't get unborn. Just like you're born into this world, there's no going back. You can't get unborn physically, just like you are spiritually. And that's another reason why we're sealed and saved eternally. Once you believe and trust on Christ and his redemptive sacrifice and his resurrection, we're justified by his blood and by his lived life for us. But that's another reason too, like you talk about Jesus and you're in any of these groups, you automatically don't fit in. It's like, especially when you talk about everyone's a Christian, you know what I mean? Everyone claims to be a Christian until it gets biblical. Until you bring up like something simple like John 3:16, or something as simple as like faith alone, or OSAS, once saved, always saved, or something about like the word of God is preserved. People are totally divided, and most people don't agree on all these topics, you know what I mean? So it's easy for us to understand the simplicity of the gospel and how important it is, but for other people it's all just a debate and an argument, and they love to mock through mimicry, but they're not really mimicking a true child of God. They're just mocking us by making us look outlandish or crazy, and then the unconverted people will point to them and say, well, look at these people, look how crazy you guys are, and then they give us the bad name because, you know what I mean? This is what happens. And so just be aware. There's so much deception going on in these last days.